Back to Lagos State. Inland Revenue Service, or LIRS, is looking to claw back billions of naira in unpaid taxes from corporates and individuals. The biggest subnational economy in Nigeria, one of the biggest in Africa, is moving to seize unpaid taxes from banks and other institutions using the instruments of the law. Joining me to discuss this and what Lagosians should expect on matters of tax is the LIRS Executive Chairman, Dr. Ayodele Subair. It's great to have you, Dr. Subair, tonight on the RS Exchange. Thank you so much for coming.
I'm glad to be here, boss.
Let's raise the curtain broadly on the new tax regime in Nigeria. How is the implementation getting off? And I'm sure Lagos State should be the place to start.
Yeah, so far so good. A lot of people are anticipating all the changes. They're being cautious. They're learning. More importantly, they're reading up a lot of the information that they need to avail themselves with so that they can be on the good side of the law. So it's still early days for us, but we're hoping that everybody will fully get into the implementation.
What are you hearing on the ground in terms of the new tax law, broadly speaking, for the Federal Republic?
Come again?
What are you hearing on the ground in terms of how the expectations and how the compliance will be moving forward?
Oh, well, at the federal level, they are practically in the same position as we are. At the moment, they are busy spreading the gospel, talking to all the people in business, people who have economic activity, the taxpayers generally, and making sure that they clarify all the various doubts that they have, all the inquiries that they have. Everybody is busy, still trying to enlighten members of the public right now.
Okay, so but let's look at the Lagos State in particular, where you here as Executive Chairman of the LIRS. The provisions of the new tax law upon which Lagos State intends to invoke the powers to seize unpaid taxes from banks and other institutions, or any other source, as it were.
So it's a bit funny when we use the word seize. So the whole idea is that the power of substitution is really a legal instrument that is used to recover unpaid taxes. These unpaid taxes really they are a result of assessment that has come out over the time. The assessment comes out, people have objected to them. We go back and forth. We have a lot of dispute mechanisms in place. We invite all the taxpayers. We have reconciliation exercises up and down. Then it gets to a point that there's no more traction. At that point, we issue what we call a NORA, a notice of refusal to amend. After this, we issue a demand notice. When we issue the demand notice, again, people still want to, even though they're not entitled to any further engagement with us, directly with us, some still want to talk to you. And then the tax appeal tribunal procedure starts. At the end of that, it goes to the high courts. After the high courts, it goes to the Court of Appeal, and at times it gets to the Supreme Court. So we can see that there's a long time frame from when the assessments are issued and when we finally dispose of all the cases through the court system. So at that point in time, it becomes that the taxpayer is probably just a defaulter, or he has become entirely recalcitrant and has no intention of paying. That is when we can think of applying the power of substitution. So looking at a time frame, it's not less than 5 years. So if anybody says that the tax authority wants to seize, then that might not be a good representation of the action.
Of the intentions. Yes. So just to clear this, Mr. Executive Chairman, it's not as if anyone in Lagos, you're due for 2025 tax and they just say, well, because you haven't paid, we just go seize, shut your bank account or things like that. That's not what is on the table right now. These are for cases that are being assessed and there's a clarity as to what the amount should be. Is that clear? Is that correct?
That is very correct. There's been a misunderstanding generally, or rather, people do not take their time to read the tax laws, and they depend on a lot of hearsay. And there have been a lot of mischievous people who have put the narrative out there that you can just be in your house and you start to get alerts and the state is taking money out of your bank accounts. That is far from the truth. It's a whole process.
So there has to be an assessment first.
There has to be an assessment, and it has to be final.
And it has to be final?
Yes.
Okay, so that's at when the next level can start to come in. And again, there's a process of the tax tribunal and all of that could also kick in before. But when you look at the issues of tax liabilities in Lagos State, well, how much are we looking at of unpaid taxes between corporates and individuals?
Well,
outstanding.
It's difficult to say that this is the amount because it's dynamic. It's moving every minute. It's moving. It's changing. People. I mean, when they are convinced that they actually owe, they pay the amounts. And it's not expected that we'll have a high amount of liabilities because people actually have a right to fight, or they have a right to contest many of these assessment notices. So it's a problem because the money is not just owed to LIRS. LIRS is a subset of Lagos State. So the money is owed to Lagos State. And it is depriving many people of all the different amenities and social services and infrastructure that could have been put in place. So we're working on how to reduce these liabilities right now.
Are there some outstanding tax liabilities, corporates and individuals, that are ripe for harvest in Lagos? Let me use that word tentatively.
Yes, there's a lot that is ready to be harvested. But it takes time for all these steps to happen. So our plan, even though it came into effect on the 1st of January 2026, we're still going to take our time to totally exhaust all the means and possibilities of getting people to voluntarily comply. I know that there's been an effluxion of time. I know that these people probably do not want to pay, but we'll give it some time. There's a lot of talk in the press that we need to have a human face. There has to be something bridging the technicality and all the legal side and looking at the realities on the ground. Of course, all the tax authorities are ready to continuously engage defaulting taxpayers. So I don't think I'll get to the office tomorrow and sign off on a list of defaulters that we want to move against. It will take some time because we're still trying to educate people. The reason which we put out a notice really is just to continue that enlightenment and for people to know that this is a position of the law. We do not write the laws. We're not policy makers. We don't write the laws. What we do is enforce the laws. So we need to let people who do not have the knowledge know that this is a mechanism that we can decide to use at any point in time. So it's just really to encourage people to do voluntary compliance, which is what we want. Nobody wants enforcement. We just want to we want to increase the level of voluntary compliance. It's very low at the moment, which is why our tax to GDP ratio is very low. People just do not want to pay their taxes. It's a global issue. All over the world, nobody wants to pay taxes. So our own work is just to continuously enlighten and educate people. And when we have to act, then we act.
When you talk about substitution and the legal provisions for that, do you think there could be litigations and all that around third-party substitution for tax assessed and due for payment?
So I think that is to be expected. There will always be dispute. We are making claims. The taxpayers feel that maybe what we are asking them for is a bit too high. people will always contest, no matter what laws you have in place. And really and truly, it's a democracy. We have the rule of law in Nigeria. LIRS is a responsible citizen, corporate citizen, and we respect the law. So we are not against people who want to dispute or take us to courts, but we expect that there will be some litigation.
Okay, so would you suggest, Mr. Executive Chairman, incentive-based options such as amnesty to get these unpaid tax liabilities back in? Because I'm sure they run into some very hefty billions of naira.
Well, I'm sure the executive, the leadership in Lagos, or probably the leadership in Abuja, might decide to carry out another amnesty program. In 2017, there was a VADES program that occurred.
Yes.
And at the end of the day, it was not that successful. There were a lot of challenges when that scheme went about. So if there's going to be another program, VADES means Voluntary Assets and Income Declaration Scheme. So if there's going to be another scheme like that, it's got to be carefully planned for. But I don't see it happening immediately. Yes, of course, the state can consider that option because it has all its advantages. Yeah. It allows people to voluntarily declare their incomes.
So look, I got a 5%, I got a 10%, I got a 7.5%, I got a 2% incentive to pay the balance of what I'm owing. Maybe I just put that in my pocket and give you the rest, Mr. Chairman.
Why not?
It's good money on the table. Well, you can overlook 0.2%. Maybe you just work out certain percentages and say, look, for those who've got chronic money, very huge amount, well, we look at inflation, that exchange rate. Okay, yeah, we can just give you 0.25, 0.0% off, and then you can pay the rest. I mean,
yes, we're open to all such
we can work
within the law.
Out.
Yes,
within the law. I love that. Within the law. It's good to have you here in the new year. Thank you so much for clarifying this for us and stating the position of the law. Tax has to be paid. Thank you so much.
My pleasure,
Executive Chairman of the Lagos Inland Revenue Service. Thank you so much, Dr. Ayodele Subair. Thank you so much for coming on the show. We appreciate for tonight.